You grow when you're alone, not when the room is loud, not when the crowd is cheering, not when everyone agrees with you. You grow when the doors close. You grow when the noise stops. You grow when there is no one left to impress, no one left to depend on, and no one left to save you. Because in that moment, the moment of isolation, you meet the only person who will ever truly control your destiny, yourself. Alone is not empty. Alone is not weak. Alone is not failure. Alone is the laboratory of transformation. Alone is the training ground of the relentless. Alone is where identity is forged, not borrowed. Most people fear being alone because in silence, excuses collapse. In silence, lies die. In silence, you hear the truth, and the truth demands accountability. When you are alone, there is no audience to perform for, no approval to chase, no distraction to hide behind. There is only effort. There is only discipline. There is only the raw confrontation between the person you are and the person you keep claiming you want to become. And many are not prepared for that confrontation, because becoming powerful is painful. Growth demands separation. Evolution demands discomfort. Strength demands solitude. The world trains you to fear isolation. It teaches you to crave validation. It teaches you to mistake attention for worth and applause for achievement. But history tells a different story. Every revolutionary thinker, every undefeated warrior, every legendary creator, every unstoppable leader was shaped for a season in complete isolation. They separated before they dominated. They withdrew before they returned victorious. They walked alone before they led millions. Because you cannot hear your own potential when the world is too loud. When you are alone, time moves differently. Nights feel longer. Thoughts feel heavier. Doubt feels louder. And this is where most people quit. They run back toward comfort. They rush toward people who will anesthetize their uneasiness. They seek noise to avoid the work. But the ones who stay, the ones who endure the silence, the ones who train when no one is watching, they emerge unmatched. Solitude removes your mask. It strips away the image. It exposes insecurity, weakness, fear, and self-deception. And at first, this exposure feels brutal. You begin to notice your laziness. You notice your inconsistency. You notice your avoidance. You notice your excuses. And now there is nowhere to hide. But this is not destruction. This is construction. Because you cannot correct what you refuse to confront. And loneliness forces confrontation. When you are alone, you stop blaming circumstances. You stop blaming people. You stop blaming the past. You are forced to ask the most dangerous question of all. What am I going to do about my life? That question terrifies the weak-minded because it removes every escape route. No politics, no drama, no distractions, no saviors. Only ownership, only responsibility, only action. And once you have built yourself in isolation, relationships change. You no longer chase connection. You select alignment. You no longer fear losing people. You fear losing momentum. You no longer borrow strength from others. You contribute strength to rooms. You do not enter spaces hoping to be filled. You enter already full. This is the transformation solitude delivers. But understand this clearly. Being alone does not automatically mean you will grow. Many people isolate and rot. Many withdraw and decay. Many sit in loneliness and spiral into bitterness. Solitude only creates growth when it is used with purpose. You must train in the silence. You must study in the darkness. You must strategize in the quiet. You must rebuild in the isolation. Otherwise, loneliness becomes a cage instead of a forge. The difference between decline and dominance is what you do when no one is watching. Do you waste or do you work? Do you complain or do you construct? Do you escape or do you evolve? Because every moment alone is a vote for the person you will become. You grow when you're alone because solitude removes dependency. You stop waiting to be saved. And the day you stop waiting is the day your life accelerates. Waiting is weakness disguised as patience. Solitude teaches you urgency, not panic, not desperation, but focused urgency. Urgency to master your craft. Urgency to sharpen your skill. Urgency to eliminate weakness. Urgency to build leverage. You grow alone because you learn that time is ruthless. No one will pause the clock until you're ready. No one will wait until you feel confident. No one will slow the future to accommodate your fear. So solitude teaches speed without chaos. It teaches intensity without instability. It teaches aggression with control. And once this combination activates within you, you become terrifyingly effective. The world fears individuals who are self-sufficient, because self-sufficient people are uncontrollable. They cannot be bribed with validation. They cannot be bought with comfort. They cannot be guilted with isolation. They already made peace with being alone. They already survived the silence. They already built something inside no one can steal. If you are currently alone, understand this. You are not abandoned. You are being prepared. You are not behind. You are being forged. You are not lost. You are being separated from who you were. Do not waste this season numbing pain. Use it to upgrade your standards. Use it to engineer your discipline. Use it to expand your capacity. Use it to build the nervous system of a champion. Because one day, sooner than you think, the world will demand from you at a level you are not yet prepared for. And when that day comes, you will not rise to the moment. You will fall to the level you built alone. So build it high. Build it relentlessly. Build it with obsession. Build it with precision. Build it when it's boring. Build it when it's lonely. Build it when it hurts. Because comfort never made champions. Silence did. Pressure did. Isolation did. You grow when you're alone because in solitude, you learn the difference between what feels good now and what pays forever. Entertainment feels good now. Discipline pays forever. Comfort feels good now. Capability pays forever. Distraction feels good now. Mastery pays forever. And once you understand this, you stop needing motivation. You operate from principle. When you finally return to the world after growing alone, you will not seek approval. You will command respect. Not because you demand it, but because your presence will be undeniable. Because solitude will have burned into you something that crowds can never give. Substance. And substance outlasts noise. So if you are walking alone right now, walk with purpose. If you are training unseen, train with obsession. If you are doubting in the dark, doubt quietly and build anyway. Because the ones who grow in silence will one day be heard without speaking. You grow when you're alone. Not because loneliness is easy, but because nothing truly powerful ever is. And once you accept ownership, everything changes. You no longer wait for motivation. You become it. You no longer seek permission. You move with intention. You no longer beg for opportunity. You build it. In isolation, you learn that discipline is stronger than emotion, that consistency is stronger than enthusiasm, that self-respect is stronger than approval. You learn how to wake up without being pushed, how to train without being praised, how to fight without being seen. This is the birthplace of real power. Most people want to look strong. Few want to become strong. Looking strong requires attention. Becoming strong requires sacrifice. When you grow alone, you trade comfort for capability. You trade pleasure for progress. You trade ease for excellence. And yes, it hurts. It hurts to walk without support. It hurts to fail without witnesses. It hurts to restart without reassurance. But pain refines. Pain clarifies. Pain reveals how deeply you want the life you claim to desire. When you are alone, you discover the truth about your hunger. Do you want success badly enough to work in silence? Do you want power badly enough to be unseen? Do you want greatness badly enough to endure isolation? Or do you only want the image of success without the process? Solitude exposes imposters, because when applause vanishes, only obsession remains. And obsession is what builds legends. You grow when you are alone because solitude forces you to build internal fuel. You stop relying on external validation, social approval, emotional crutches, constant reassurance, and you start developing mental endurance, emotional discipline, strategic thinking, unbreakable focus. When no one checks on you, you learn to check on yourself. When no one encourages you, you learn to encourage yourself. When no one believes in you, you either break or you rise. And rising alone creates a different kind of confidence, not loud, not arrogant, not dependent, but unshakable, because you know exactly how hard it was to build yourself from nothing. No one can talk you out of your worth when you earned it in isolation. No one can manipulate your direction when you discovered it alone. No one can weaken your standards when you suffered to create them. Alone time rewires your identity. You stop trying to fit in. You stop begging to belong. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And for the first time, you actually become dangerous. Not emotionally dangerous, not recklessly dangerous, competently dangerous, focused, disciplined, strategic, unstoppable. Because the person who has mastered solitude has mastered impulse. The person who has mastered isolation has mastered fear. Fear loses its grip when you have faced your own shadow alone. You stop fearing rejection because you have already survived abandonment. You stop fearing judgment because you have already judged yourself in truth. You stop fearing uncertainty because you have already walked blind through discomfort. Growth in solitude imprints something permanent into your nervous system. Resilience. Resilience is not bravado. It is not noise. It is not bravura. It is quiet persistence. It is waking up when quitting would be easier. It is continuing when motivation disappears. It is choosing integrity when cutting corners would be rewarded. And solitude is where resilience is carved. Alone, you learn that. You are not entitled to ease. You are not guaranteed comfort. You are not promised clarity. But you are responsible for effort. You are accountable for preparation. You are obligated to your potential. And potential is a debt paid only through sustained discomfort. Many people remain average not because they lack talent, but because they cannot tolerate being alone with their own ambition. They fear isolation more than they fear stagnation. So they stay distracted, they stay entertained, they stay social, they stay occupied. But they do not grow. Because growth demands stillness. Growth demands attention. Growth demands self-interrogation. You do not stumble into greatness. You design it